Hi, everyone. We are going to go through the steps in making the matter foldable that was included with the grade 3 science unit for matter. So what you're going to need are the sheets that were attached. They're a PDF. There should be 4 single sheets that are numbered 1 to 4, a stapler, some tape, and there's also a sheet that has the different pieces that we're going to cut out. So in short, what we're going to do, I'll just move some of these out of the way, is we're going to create the foldable that the students are able to use for all of their materials for matter. So in opening it, we have a section that has review of what is matter, materials, properties of objects and materials. And then there's a pouch in here for them to go and do a little bit of research, because this is background knowledge that they needed to have beforehand. So we want to talk a little bit about what are some examples of matter that they can find without you telling them what to go and find. Then we're going to look at what this unit was really all about, and that was the states of matter. And so you'll see at the bottom it says, take your hexagonal card sort and place them into the appropriate or correct pouch. So we're going to create the 3 pouches. The students are going to cut apart those pieces that were on that sheet for them. And then they're going to sort them and put them into the correct pouches from there. Moving forward, we also have a role of how does temperature or heat affect the change of state, because that is definitely a huge component of it. And then what is it that when we have changes of state, in particular, we're talking about the water cycle. And so you have a diagram of the water cycle in here, which we would hope that they would be able to put in their own words. They can even just put it on a sheet of paper and put it into the pouch here, or they could answer questions based on what you're asking them. All of the other attachments for resources that I gave you for the water cycle are different pictures, so that they're not just memorizing one picture. We really truly want them to understand what is happening in each circle or each cycle. And then at the back, I always have a section in my foldables that is, what do I still need to work on? Are there any wonders, any questions, any I'm not sure of? This is a good place for them. This is also a place for you if you wanted to do a quick quiz, just a formative even, or just give them a question and you want to see how they do, they can write it in here. The whole idea behind a foldable was that the unit that they're studying is all sort of encompassed. I should have a place to put any assignments that you give me. But on the same token, it should also be an opportunity for students to put in their own language what they've learned from you. So this isn't something where we say, what are materials that they're copying down off of the board from you because you gave them some definitions. You might have done definitions on the board, you might have talked about it, you might have given them tons of examples, they might have watched a video. But then what goes in here is their own language, which tells us a lot. First of all, it's more meaningful to them. And secondly, it's a good formative for you as the teacher, because now if I look down and I look around and I have no idea what to write, then that's a pretty good indication that I'm lost. I'm not too sure what it is you're asking me, or I don't know it. Or I might have some good ideas to start with, but just some missing pieces. So when I read it through, again, it's that formative assessment for us to see where they're going through. So it's an assessment, it's a work, it's all encompassing. You can attach assignments into here, quizzes into here, like it's just kind of becomes their one home. Okay, so this is our goal. I'm going to make this. So let's move some things apart. So you'll need this sheet. Each student would need to cut out each of their own little hexagons so that they could work on that. And if they do it on colored paper, that's even easier for them to see then when they're pulling it apart. Okay, so let's have a look at what we need to put together. You'll have printed off 4 sheets of paper on legal, on ledger, 11 by 17, the large paper. And you'll notice that there are numbers that are on the bottom right-hand corner or sometimes on the left-hand corner of the page. So I just want to make sure, first of all, that we're actually all working with this paper. I'm just waiting for my focus to get in line there. So if you're taking page 4, I'm going to turn it over so that you can have a look and see what is on the back of page 4. So page 4 says states of matter on it. When I turn it over, I see page 3, and the page number is upside down in this corner right here, and that'll become evident why. You'll also see that there's some writing that's upside down, and that's not a mistake. That's the way it should be. So this is the back of page 4. This is what it would look like. So these sheets are back to back. Let's look at page 1 and 2. So here is page 2. Bottom right-hand corner is the number. And the back side of this page is your cover that says matter on it. And again, you'll notice that there's some writing that's upside down, and that's okay. That's not a problem. Okay, so to fold this properly, we're going to take the sheet that's numbered 1, 2. I have 2 facing me right now. And I'm going to put page 4 right on top of that. So I've got 2 and 4 lined up in that regard. Now, it might not be too easy to see on the screen right now because I just don't know if it picks it up that well. But what I do want you to notice, and you can look on your sheet, I've drawn some lines right in here. Those aren't mistakes. There's also a couple of small ones here, and there's one over here. So I'm using those. I don't generally put those in there because I usually do this in person. So we're going to do this using some guidelines. So we've got 4 on top of 2. We're going to just take our sheets and make sure that they're nice and tight together. And we're going to fold both sheets together at the same time. And what we're going to do is take both of the bottoms and fold them up to that line that was marked on the right-hand side. So both the left and right side have a line. So as best you can. And you know what? There's one thing about foldables, you can't really make a mistake. Everything that you make that might be an error can be fixed. So we fold it. I don't know if I did a very good job of folding there, but we'll just start with that one for now. Okay, everybody's got their fold line. So now you'll notice that there are some lines up at the top here. So we're going to take all the layers just the way they are. Don't shift anything out yet. We're going to fold it so that it comes straight down on that line. And if it's a little bit off that line, not to worry. And then we're going to do the same thing this way. We're going to fold them. So we're folding them over top of one another. Okay, so let me do the first one. So we're looking for those lines. Just put your fingernail on them, and that's good enough for an approximate fold. If you have a pair of scissors handy, using the end of the scissor to run along the edges where you fold gives you a nice crisp kind of edge to it, fold to it. Okay, I did my first fold. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to open mine up so I can see it a little bit better. And I'm just going to fold in. Okay. And so I have my 2 pieces. Okay, so now we have it sort of looking the way it's supposed to look. The only thing is right now they're stuck together. So I need to make sure that I can actually work with them and not have them layered like this. So you're simply going to slide the inside one out and just lay it on top. Okay, so all I did was I took the page that's marked 3 in the right-hand corner. When you pull it out, you'll see 3 right here. Just pull it out and lay it on top. And then again, just straighten them out so that they're all lined up perfectly. Okay, so our foldable is starting to take shape. Keeping your finger on it right now, we're going to take a piece of tape, and where you see that line that has the little marker on top of there, we're going to take a piece of tape and catch both the pouch that we folded over and that line. And it doesn't really matter. They don't need the whole page of tape, but you know, a couple of inches, 3 inches would be good. So I went about that high. Okay, let me do another one. And the only reason we're doing this is because those are the pouches they're going to put their hexagons in. We don't want them to fall out and fall forward. Okay, so far so good. Let's just take the right hand, page 3, and just turn it over. So it's starting to look a little bit like a book now. We're going to do the same idea. I want to make sure this pouch doesn't have any issues, and I want these 2 pages to stay together. So let's just grab another piece of tape. By the way, once the students have learned how to do these, by the time you've handed out the sheets, if they know what you're what you want them to build, they'll have them done before you even handed them all out in the rows. That's how quickly they get the hang of these. Let's do the same with the front. Just open that first page. I'm just going to recrease it there so it's nice and firm. I'm going to put a tape down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stapler and I'm going to just staple the ends of each of those pouches. Now here's where the first common mistake usually comes in. Kids will just take them, put them all together. Easy to fix, just take the staple out and start again. But we just don't want our pouch, anything to fall out at the end. So I'm just going to do that. Now, some teachers don't like to have staplers handed down the row. You can take a piece of tape. I'll do one with that too. I can just take a piece of tape and put it over the end and it will serve exactly the same purpose. So whatever is easier for you, whatever works better for your group of kids, just use either tape or stapler. Okay, so now I can simply make sure that I have everything where I want it to be. You now have your entire foldable ready to go for your students. And so now I can go ahead. My cutouts that I have, so I'll use the one that I finished here. And we get them to cut them out and sort them when you're at this point, and then they can put them in. And they're going to say that some of these might fit into more than one, and actually that's true. Some of them may fit into more than one, for sure. So I hope that gives you an idea of how to maybe use the foldable, put it together. There are quite literally 8 or 9 basic foldables that I use, different styles, and I often meld more than one into one foldable. So again, if this is something that people would like and you'd like more with other units, you just need to send me an email. I'll be glad to design something. That'd be great. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good time with Matter.